It's a beautiful day here in Maryland, so I decided to record this outside today, one of the local universities here, and hopefully the audio here turns out all right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what SAR and RF exposure is, since there doesn't seem to be any basic training on SAR this year for some reason. And I think there's a module being offered that's asynchronous, but if you're someone like me, I'm glad that there is one. I think I'll get back to looking at it when I have time, but I never make the time in my spare time and go look for it and watch for it. So I hope to give a really helpful brief introduction to this right now. So for decades, FCC has worked with FDA to figure out and adopt limits for safe levels of everyday exposure to radio frequency energy. And if you remember from 12th grade physics, waves are just part of everyday life. Sound waves exist because of physical vibrations, and they're heard and felt by our ears, between 100 hertz and 20 kilohertz. And cell phones operate typically, 700 megahertz in the gigahertz range. And your microwave oven is typically operating 2500 megahertz. Visible light from the sun is a wave emitting even higher frequencies in the hundreds of terahertz range, which includes ultraviolet light. And once you get up beyond visible light frequencies, it's known to be what's called ionizing energy, which basically means enough energy to break the bonds between atoms and molecules. And so what's non-ionizing energy then? Non-ionizing energy are below visible light and don't break down chemical bonds within cells and tissues, but it can cause tissue heating or nerve stimulation. And this is where cell phones and microwaves, wireless charging products, and other popular consumer products exist. Now, no need to worry, because everything out in the market with the FCC certification or FCC ID has been tested by a laboratory to ensure it meets the federal limits. Otherwise, it won't be allowed to be certified or imported or marketed, even in the United States. Okay, so the term for levels absorbed by our bodies by these non-ionizing waves is called the specific absorption rate, SAR or SAR. And a lot of questions I get when I talk about my job at work is my phone safe? And the answer is yes. When the devices we buy are certified and mass produced with the designs that were submitted to the government to be shown as compliant to the safety standards, then it's safe. And many companies publish the SAR levels to show that they indeed comply with FCC limits, which is 1.6 watts per kilogram. And in fact, this limit is ultra conservative with over 50 times safety margin. So we can actually feel good that even if you use your phone or a tablet or watch or whatever, in the worst case scenarios, like if you're on a farm and your phone is at max power trying to reach the far cell tower, you're well below limits that might potentially cause harm. And the last thing I'll talk about is the difference the government distinguishes between what's called a portable device and a mobile device. So to the everyday person, they kind of mean the same thing. But for manufacturers and certification houses, they're completely different things. So a portable product means something that's reasonable and foreseeable to be used within 20 centimeters of a person's body or head or hand, while a mobile product is something not typically carried portably by a person. For example, a Wi-Fi router or a smart printer or a smart laundry machine or something. Both kinds of products need certification, but only one of those types needs SAR evaluation to give the public assurance of the radiation levels from those technologies, and the worst case scenarios will be below the federal limits. So I hope this was helpful, and if it was, hit subscribe and follow me on LinkedIn or YouTube, and to keep getting fresh updates about this. Talk to you later.